The pulse of the Bitcoin and crypto bull market lies within the next 12 hours, but more specifically, the next few days here. And what happens in these next few days could be the make or break decision as far as if we plan to go to new all-time highs for crypto, Bitcoin, altcoins like XRP in quarter 1, or could we see it get pushed out and pushed back? And could there be a black swan looming here, which could be the cause for a breakdown in Bitcoin and all of the markets? We're going to go into Bitcoin macro charts, go into some of the macro drivers for crypto like Bitcoin dominance, others dominance, USDT dominance, as well as look at the pump dump chart. And we'll take a look at and revisit coins like XRP, Flare, and XLM. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, right, if I go to a daily chart here, we have the Pi cycle indicator here, and you can see here, this floor has been rising, and it's so important that, you know, if we're going to bounce or if we go any bit lower, we only have a limited amount of room to the downside for us to be able to go lower. Because as you can see on that wickening event back February 3rd, we came right down, and where did we smack dab touch on? The Pi cycle MA, this red line here, and we saw a big bounce from that level. But let's go back, rewind the clocks to Aprilish May of 2024, and we can see that we had a bounce from that level as well too, and we saw that floor was rising, and then once we cracked below it and had trouble maintaining above the Pi cycle MA back in June, that's when really things hit the fan and we started to go lower with the price for Bitcoin, and we had that cruel summer. Even though we did have, you know, some nice pops on the way up, we really trended lower for a matter of from June to September, about 3 months. We saw 3 months of a cruel summer there. And then if we even revert the clocks back, we can see that it's played an important role in all of Bitcoin's bull markets, but bear markets as well too. And even going back to like January of 2024, we found a bounce right at that line before heading up as well. So definitely a key level, and we're going to mark that. So Bitcoin absolutely needs to close daily candle bodies above 93.8K, because if we don't, and we start doing something like back here where we break below and we're struggling to maintain above, we could see the beginning of, you know, a 2 to 3 month downtrend, or at least sideways, of blood and boringness across the crypto space. And that will definitely have a bad effect on altcoins as well too. So if we're going to see cryptos recover and Bitcoin start to bounce, and altcoins start to recover and head up to go into a big alt season, the clock's ticking. And we have some catalysts as of tomorrow within the next 12 hours, which could spark this next big move, like inflation. We have a Fed Chair Powell testimony as well too. This is going to be happening in the next 8.5 hours. So what happens then and what happens tomorrow is going to be the spark to the next big move in crypto. And I believe if it's, you know, the market reacts negatively to those macro events, then we're going to see a break below, and that could spell some blood. But we could see a nice big bounce, and we could see a reclaim of 100K to potentially 103, 104K for Bitcoin, which could spell the next big move right on the horizon out of nowhere. But if the market takes this event negatively, it could spark the next big bloodbath. So looking at that right now, key time point that we're at, key macro data that's lining up with it, and then looking at things like the 1 week chart for the Stargate signals, how I covered in the video yesterday, we do have a sell now currently at this moment, but it's not yet confirmed. We have 4 days and 19 hours for this candle to confirm. So if we can see the market react positively to the data that comes out tomorrow, and we reclaim 103K, we'll see this signal go away. But if we start to break down below that key 93.7, and then we start seeing, and even if we see a daily candle body below 92K, yeah, then we'll definitely see the signal confirmed by Sunday, and we'll see the aftermath of that, no doubt in my mind, by next week. But even though we have this 1 week sell now currently flashing, not yet confirmed, zooming out to the Bitcoin macro tops template that we use at Stargate on the 45-day chart, we're still good. We're still solid as far as the bull market is still intact. There's no reason to get all emo right now because we did not confirm the sell now confirmation on the bull market Bitcoin tops template. On the 45-day chart, we use it because going back to every single bull market top, once that 45-day sell now signal has flashed, it was the start of the bear market, start of the bear market, start of the bear market. And we saw a year of blood and just down, 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 as you see with the red candles here. But so far, so good. We have not flashed that candle, the vertical yellow yet. And we have 2 days and 19 hours before this candle actually closes on the current chart. So, like I said, what happens tomorrow is going to be key for the next couple of days and what happens there. Because if it ends up being shaky and we do see a break below 90K and we start heading down to into the 80s, even high 70s, we could see in 2 days and 19 hours that new fresh candle here start to flash that vertical yellow sell now. So, like, we're at a critical time point across the board, looking at the macro charts, looking at the medium charts, and seeing data align with it, as well as on the, the lower time frames, looking at the pi cycle, seeing how close we are to it at this moment in time. But there's no reason to get all emo right now because we haven't broken these levels, as well as we haven't flashed the confirmation signals for the bull market top for Bitcoin yet. So right now, so far, so we're in the clear, but we have some drivers, some data coming out that is going to be the cause, the spark to whatever happens next. But looking at some medium to lower time frames, let's see and gauge, what could potentially happen based off of, the momentum here. Looking at the 1 day chart, we are starting to level off here, but I'd like to see more out of this TSI on the 1 day. Looking at the 12-hour chart, let's see if we're, starting to curl up. We started to press up a little bit. We saw a little bump here. Now we're coming back down. We saw the MACD start to flip green. We're coming back down. So definitely important that, within these next two 12-hour candles, we start to see this cross up like that and a dark green MACD print come in, because then we'll be good to go to turn this around on the small to medium time frames, which will then spill into the higher time frames. Looking at, the downward sloping trend line, we did have resistance here. All the way here, we saw a little breakout and then we came back down to retest as like a breakout and then back down support at the same levels. So as long as we can hold the line here, we're Gucci. But we start seeing some blood and we start to see the market react negatively to what comes out in the next 12 hours here, then we could see a break below that critical support. But, we already saw a breakout from the trend. We saw a retest back down. If anything, right now is the moment where we need to start turning this baby around, because like I was just showing you on the higher time frames, medium and small now. And if we were to take a look with the 7G star G8 indicator, let's go to see what we're flashing over here as far as is there any long entry signals or anything like that. Nothing flashing as far as that goes. Let me see if I bring this to the Coinbase chart. Nothing as far as that goes. We haven't seen anything like that since back here. So no, nothing there. But let's go to a 12-hour chart now. Let's hide this and let's look at some other key levels of support. So that pi cycle MA is perfectly aligned with the Stargate snakes, the purple MA right here as well too. So the pi cycle, if I throw that back on, you can see perfectly aligned. And if I throw the fib forecaster on, we have the 786 there as well too. So like that's our concrete support floor. We break that and crack through that, it's going to get ugly. But right now, so far, so good. And then looking out on the 45-day chart, we still don't have the Bitcoin macro top signal flashing yet. But if it does, looking to historically the past, it's no good. But right now we're in the clear. All right, so that's Bitcoin. And if I was going to give my personal thoughts, right, on this of what I think is going to happen, I want to say that I'm leaning towards more of it's going to hold the line. It's going to hold the line, because honestly, if it doesn't, and we do see a breakdown below there and we see that blood in the streets and we see that 1 week sell now confirmed, and then that will spill into the 45-day macro top. And then this bull market, to me, like, I don't believe we're done with the bull market in altcoins specifically as well too, or nowhere close to where they should be. So to me, the odds are more likely that we do actually bounce here and recover, and we kickstart an uptrend this week. As of tomorrow, we start to see the dust clear, and we start to see now, a good strong bounce, which will then spill into altcoins. Because in my opinion, if we don't, then this will be the biggest rug pull of a bull market of all time, in my opinion. I mean, like, it's been brutal as far as most of the altcoins have been terrible. And then like coins like XRP not even really hitting new all-time highs, stuff like that. I just don't see that being the case. But this is crypto. If a black swan's around the corner, like in March of 2020, then that's just what it is. So like that, it's not out of the realms of being a possible scenario. But if I were to say, with all things being normal, how we should react is we should see a bounce to take us up here and to pull the market out of this rut that it's been in, and for us to continue business as usual to the upside. But we got to keep our head on a swivel, ears to the streets and the tweets, because this is crypto. But let's go into now the others market cap here. And let's go to the 1 month chart and take a look. So where we're at as far as where we touched on that wickening back a few weeks ago, we touched this upwards support trend line from back at the bear market bottom. Like, if we come down, we break this level, we would see a COVID type crash here, which would likely take us to the bottom of the beast. If I put this trend line out like that, where does that bring us to? Right to the bottom of the beast. And with the time point of where we're at right now, we could see, that brings us right to the bottom of the beast in the downward sloping trend line, kind of like back here, as well too, where we did a little bit of a double top. You had the wick at the top as well too, this candle looking thing that looks like right there. If we're going to see a terrible event happen, it would likely be in the month of February here, because as you can see, it already looks like it right here, but it could not be over. We could see that this is just half of what's about to happen, then we could see the rest come in, and that would be just like an incredible, unreal opportunity. You would get coins at levels that you couldn't even imagine. But do I think that is more likely of a scenario? No, I do think that the more likely scenario is Bitcoin does find its support here, it bounces, and alts do level off here. I mean, we did touch the market structure ribbon on the monthly chart. We tapped the 786. We tapped the top of the beast, are very close to it. So if anything, that could have been it, but we can't discount those other things lining up. And also on the monthly chart, a cross down is ensuing at this moment. And if you look at previous cross downs, it's never been good. So definitely would like to see by the end of this month a nice buyback and at least the body of the candle back above 300 billion. And it's going to start with the move that happens tomorrow. I can count on that. And then we would need to see this TSI by the end of the month start to curl back up, and for us to actually go into expansion for the others market cap. If we go to the weekly chart, we can see we already saw that 1 week sell now back here. And then we did see continuation lower the following candle. We need to see us get back and, like I said, reclaim above 300 billion first off, but 330 billion is going to be the key to send us up to fast track to new all-time highs ASAP. That will be the level, because we have the downward sloping resistance. We have the market structure ribbon on the weekly. We don't want to see that start. The more time that we spend down here, the worse it's going to be, because if we spend a lot of time down here, we'll see this market structure ribbon start to turn, and it'll turn red. And we don't want to see it turn red, because that's, if we go back to June, that's months of downwards action and blood. So February, but this week is going to be the start of it, is going to be so crucial for us to get out of this lull that we're in here, this rut. So, and Bitcoin's going to be the daddy at pulling that up or pulling that off. So that's that for others market cap. And then if we go to on the left side here, we have others dominance, and we're flashing a 1 week buy now as we speak, I believe. No, we already did on the candle last week. So we need to see us, if we look at the momentum down here, I mean, we saw 1 week buy now, but we're not yet above the zero line in the TSI. So that's fine. You can see what we just need to see is us immediately this week, but at least by the end of this month, start to see us curl back over, and this TSI avoid getting above that zero line. The stock RSI come back down. Us to maintain below this trend line resistance. If I bring this trend line out like that, you can see we're at it right now as we speak. If I go to the daily chart, we'll get a closer look. Yeah, so see we have this downward sloping resistance here, resistance, resistance. We didn't get up to it there, but I could even, I mean, if I pulled it down a little more and we put those wicks, we already broken. Actually, hold on, let me pull this up and then pull it back down. We've actually broken above it. We've actually broken above. So it's, we're doing something that, we've only would do at or this bull market tops. So we need to immediately come back down and break below to get back on track here. And on the 2-day chart, we're seeing the momentum kind of stall off a bit. The 1-day stall off a little bit, but we need to see more, and it's going to come from the 12-hour. And let's look here. We're starting to see a cross down, but this cross up in the 12-hour is not looking good. We want to see with this 12-hour candle, this get, null and void like that, and for us to start our meltdown, and then that will spill into the 1-day, 2-day chart, etc. And we do have that 12-hour sell now that, I mean, you haven't seen something like that flash since August of 2024. So could have that been the wickening moment back early this February? Definitely could have been, but we're not out of the woods yet still. If we look at Bitcoin dominance in the middle of the screen on the monthly chart, we have a 1-month sell warning, but to really get confirmation that, all right, Bitcoin dominance is done going up, we need to see that sell now flash, and we need to see us with the momentum down here curl down. Right now, we're still continuing to push up on the 1 month. The stock RSI was super close to breaking down through that 50 line, but it said nah, and it did a V-shaped move up here. So like, it will be so key. And we'll know that, it's for real alt season once we can break below that 44, 45 level in the stock RSI, because we'll see that cross down there. And then previous times was, the previous alt seasons where that has happened. But what's leading me to believe that, if anything, if there were to be a COVID type scenario, that could ensue, we could see it, I mean, looking to the past, at least on Bitcoin dominance, we saw like back here, right? You had our momentum come up and cross up, and we got hung up at this like 50 line. Yeah, 50 line a little bit. So like back here, we came up, and this was really like the start of our bear market, just like back here, start of our bear market, we get hung up at this 50 line. This was a little more drastic than back here. But then we had our time up here, and then we started to come down. There was one moment where we started to it looked like we're just going to melt down, but we had a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction up. It wasn't as aggressive, but where did that take place? March of 2020, matching up to that COVID black swan type thing. And now we're sitting here 5 years later, at this period where it looked like it was going to melt down. We're having a knee-jerk reaction around February. Something could pan out within these next 30 days for a knee-jerk reaction like that, but ultimately that's sending the bottom on alts, and that being the top on Bitcoin dominance. And then we see, that the next following months to a year be just straight moves up, up only, but not after a big blood event, even bigger than what we saw happen. So we're sitting at a very important time point where, a golden swan or a black swan is about to ensue here. And I think it starts with what happens tomorrow. So that's Bitcoin dominance. Looking at others' dominance here, if that were to be the case, we saw a spike in Bitcoin dominance and we came up to retest levels like back in December 2020, September 2019, we could see 66% Bitcoin dominance, and could even see us getting back above 70% dominance, which would send others' dominance definitely back down to levels like March or December 2020. It would send it to around 6%, and then Bitcoin dominance would be up here above potentially 70%. So that would pan out. In that case, we'd see that Bitcoin dominance head up, USDT dominance head up, others dominance head down, and altcoins will get smacked surprisingly even more than they already have. But like I said, we've already retested a key level with that wick, I think the other day, back at June of 2023. We already tapped that same level. So in my opinion, looking at all the factors, in my opinion, I do see it would be more likely for a bounce and a hold the line at these levels. Because how much more can these alts get smacked? So it's been brutal. But yeah, so that's what I'm watching as far as those drivers go. So yeah, others dominance right there. But the 1 month, we're not gearing up right now. It's like the 1 month momentum curling over, TSI still curling over. Even if we go to like a 1 week chart, let's check it out. We just started to cross down as a couple weeks ago, but we could be setting up for a good moment to see us bottom out here and cross up, and then us finally get above that zero line again, like we did back here in August 2023. When we got below, that was May 2024. We were so close to getting and holding above back late last year, December 2024, but we came right back down. We need to see this cross up hard above that zero line so we can have an alt season type of scenario pan out. Until then, we're not going to see it. So the 1 week chart is at, I would say, a good place where we could see a bottoming out to curling back up. If we look at the 3-day chart, we need to start to see that turn. So the medium time frames are not yet turning yet, but I mean, the 1 day is looking promising. I mean, you go back to this level, June of 2024, August 2024, November 2024, this was a level where we saw the tide start to shift. So that's a good sign right there. So then looking at the Altseason pulse chart, like I mentioned before in other videos, when we enter into the belly of the beast for the Altseason pulse chart all the way to the right here, that's sets us up for the environment for Altseason to ensue. So as long as we can maintain this monthly candle in the belly of the beast, then we're still good to go as far as Altseason could commence at any moment. But if we start breaking above and holding above the belly of the beast is not good. We need to see us maintain below the belly of the beast. We wicked up right above it, retested certain levels. But as long as we see the bodies of the candles close in the belly of the beast, then we're still all good. We saw a 1 week buy now, that's all right. But as long as we remain below the belly of the beast with these candle bodies, then we're all good. So like I said, if we saw the bad scenario pan out and then we saw the Bitcoin dominance go up, USDT dominance go up, then we'll see at the end of the week, we'll reclaim back above the belly of the beast, and it won't be good. So all of these things are going to play into each other, and tomorrow is going to be what sets it off. So looking at now, we'll look at specific altcoins like XRP, XLM, and we'll look at Flare as well too. All right, so taking a look at some like XRP, right? If we go out, like I already mentioned in the last video, we do have that 1 week sell now. We do, but and I hate to say it, but I feel like a lot of people are getting mad emo right now, and it's like, just because there's 1 week sell, one week sell now doesn't mean the macro top is in for XRP. I mentioned it in my 2025 XRP moonshots video, and all the other videos is 2 sell nows before the macro top. So just because the XRP flash one right now doesn't mean it's not going to hit new all-time highs or go higher. It just means that there could be a cool off period, like back here. Let's say we could just have a cool off period. The XRP could come down to $1.50. It could go right back up to $3. Could go right back down to $1.70. It could just waddle around here for months. And then when July and my birthday comes, July 18th, then it'll be ready to go and hit new all-time highs. So that's how this could pan out, just like back in 2017 back here. So just because we have the sell now come in doesn't mean the bear market starts for XRP and we go back down to 30 cents. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like we have those macro timeframes saying, hey, the momentum has slowed down. We're starting to turn the tides here. And that doesn't mean we're just going to immediately tank. We could just go sideways and just range in this range, let's say from like $1.60 or let's say $1.50 to $3. We could just range in here for months. And then all of a sudden something happens in July that sends us up to the new all-time high and just blows people's minds as far as where it could go to. I'm not saying it can go up to 20, but let's say like 7 to 8 or like 10 to 13 or $15 to $18, right? And then we'll see that 1 week sell now signal flash the second time. And then that would be the macro top. And then we would see years or a year or two of back down. And I do believe we'd come right back down to 2 or, same levels. So that's why it's very important to take some profits, in my opinion, not financial advice, but that's what I'll be doing. So that's what could pan out. And then let's say by the end of this decade, 2027 or 2028, we do it all over again. And then we see XRP by the end of this decade breach over $100 and maybe even hit 1,000, by then. I just don't think it happens this bull run. So there's a lot of other things that in dominoes to fall before I believe a scenario like that happens. But I think by the end of this decade, could XRP be above $100? Absolutely. Do I think it could hit 1,000? My opinion. But I just don't see it going like this, which a lot of people are expecting. I just don't see that being the case. So that's my personal opinion on XRP. You could have yours. And I've been holding XRP since back here. So it's not like I just, scooped it up yesterday. I know everything about what's going on with XRP behind the scenes. And I'm still saying, I don't think this bull run. But that's as far as XRP goes. We could range here for some months if we see that blood scenario for Bitcoin pan out. But there's so much opportunity that you should want that if you're still trying to grow your XRP bags, because, if you can buy back in at, say you took some profits on this sell here at $3.20 and you bought back in and it comes down to $1.50, and then you sell when it comes back up with another sell, and then a buy, and then a sell, and then another buy. Kind of like back here where I took this fractal back in 2017, you had these buys at these bottoms, and then you had sells along the top. So on the 1-day chart, we would use that, and the 12-hour chart, we would use it. So a mix between the 12-hour and the 1-day, you can go back to that time and you can see that perfect time to do swing trading. You had the 1 days at the bottom, the 12 hours at the top, 1 day at the bottom, 12 hours at the top, or you could just use the 12 hours, because the 12 hours just, hit these bottom, hit the top, bottom, top, and you can accumulate so much more XRP during this time period of just sideways and just ranging between $1.50 or $1.80 and $3.30. I'm licking my chops over a scenario like that to just accumulate more, because we know that we're still not at the macro top yet. So, and with that, I'm making an announcement here for the Stargate VIPs. When we had said, hey, we're not looking at the 1-day chart anymore for XRP, back when we saw the breakout in October, November, I had said that once we see that first 1 week sell now signal come on, then we're going to kickstart the swing signals on XRP again. So this is an announcement that fire up those 1-day alerts, because we're igniting the swing trades again, because now the bulk of the move has happened, and now we could expect something like some sideways action. I mean, we already have some 1-day prepare to buy soon flashing, but it's not until the 1-day buy now is where you want to take action on that. But the swing signals on XRP, I mean, to show the results here, like the swing trades over the past 7 years for XRP has amassed so much profits over just holding this whole time. I mean, you go to see how much money, I mean, $10,000 starting in 2017, back here, July 2017, has turned into $2 million by this point, versus if you just bought and held, you'd only have turned 10 grand into 121,000. So you're talking about a substantial difference, 1,213% versus 20,000% by utilizing the volatility of XRP on just the 1-day chart. Just the 1-day chart. So imagine XRP had gone basically, I mean, even a few months after that point, right? And that's why a lot of people saying, I'm just going to hold until a certain number. I don't believe it's the way to go, because if we're saying, hey, we're at this time period, a few months later, we saw XRP actually pull about a 15 times move in like 90 days. If you didn't sell when that said to sell there, you would have spent years just riding it back down to the same levels you bought years ago, and you'd be sitting on that same 10,000, when a few months after that point, you could have been sitting on like 130 grand. And now you have a lot of powder for when that buy comes in at the bottom. You just scooped up basically the same amount. You scooped up like 10 times more XRP at the same price level. So now you're sitting on so much bigger of a stack. So imagine you would have accumulated a substantial amount of XRP following the signals for years, for this moment in time where on the 1 week it broke out and is now doing the macro signals again, right? So by that point, if you would have just bought 10 grand worth of XRP, where I was saying at 30 cents, you'd be sitting on what, like 30,000 XRP, but you'd still be sitting on 30,000 XRP right now. But utilizing those signals, the up, down on the 1-day chart, you would be probably sitting on 1 million XRP sitting at $2.40, and you don't even need it to go to $100 or $1,000 to change your life at that point. You would be good right here. So that's the key. We know the future potential of XRP in these coins, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to follow the volatility of the markets at hand. And, there's ways to grow your bags along this ride and not just watch it and just hope for it to go to a certain number to cash out. So 1-day charts for signals for XRP, we're firing it back up. That's one thing that I said we were going to do. And now that we've seen that first 1 week sell now, we're good to fire it up. And we do have the 1-day prepare to buy soon, no buy now yet. But then let's take a look at something like XLM now. So I mean, XLM now, if we go to the high time frame, like a 10-day chart, we can see here that we saw that 10-day sell now confirmation already come in. If we're matching it up like similarly to 2017, you could say, hey, like right back here, yeah, it looks similar. And we could see XLM potentially going back down, and a lot of people wouldn't believe it, back down to 15 cents. Imagine seeing it go to 60 cents and then watching it and just falling it back down to 15 cents and not even taking 5% profits on it, like brutal. So just like with XRP, I'm expecting just some sideways action unless we can see Bitcoin and a golden swan event happen tomorrow. And by the end of this week, I am expecting some more sideways action and potentially one more washout before setting it up to new highs this year. But like I said with XRP, it doesn't mean the bull market top is in that we see this 10-day sell now signal. It just means that we need some time for the charts to pick back up again. And it needs to work things out, shake some people out. And then ultimately I do see we could see a potentially higher prices for XLM, like let's say around $4.38 or back to $1.40, something like that. But I don't think the utmost top is in for coins like XLM, XRP. But do I think that there could be more blood before new all-time highs? Absolutely. I do think that could be the case here, especially if what I was showing you with Bitcoin pans out. But we could already be, good to set it up for the next move up. It just depends what really happens with the data here. So tomorrow is going to be very key, and watching the traditional markets as well. So that's XLM. So now let's just cover Flare here, and I'm going to end it off because this has been a really long video. So something like Flare, right? The last signal that flashed on a 10-day chart was a buy now. If we go to, so different than something like XRP or XLM, which its last signal, so I'm on the 1 week chart now with Flare, its last signal was a buy now. For coins like XRP and XLM, it was a sell now, and as of recent. So let's say like the market does bleed out, and even Flare bleeds out a little bit, right? What I'd be doing is, if I was holding a big bag of Flare, which I am doing, is you're throwing it to Bifrost and you're getting those passive rewards. So letting that money accumulate with the compounding and the passive Flare strategy, and I'll make sure I link that video in the bio if you didn't know about it. But yeah, there's 12 months left of those macro month or those monthly rewards, but also you get the 2 a week as well too. So I'd be, heavily taking advantage of that while the market works itself out. And let's say Flare does keep going down. It comes down to the 786 here. From current levels to that point, that's only a 24% drawdown. But comparatively, like something like XRP or XLM, let's say XLM, we're talking about a 50% drawdown from current levels to, like, let's say 18 cents or 15 cents where it could go to. So I do believe strongly that Flare being in that is a better way to preserve purchasing power versus being in some of these other coins. So if you're a Stargate VIP, look in the ICY My Info channel and look at the most recent VIP market update that I did, going into details about what I announced a week or two ago, because nothing has changed as far as what I'm holding and what I'm 100% in and what I shaved off from. And I'm still giga bullish on Flare, staking and getting those rewards. In the meantime, we could bottom right here and start to trend up, or we could come down to this 786-01535. But I do believe it would be less of a drawdown versus some of these coins that I already took profits in. And that's fine, and I allocated the dry powder into coins that I think are going to hold up better or outperform the coins that I sold out of. And I still have some dry powder. So as far as the pair-to-pair strategy, if you haven't already seen that video, I'll link that as well too. That was that XRP versus XLM showdown, who could outperform. There's multiple ways where you can win on a trade like that. Both coins could go down. So let's say XRP goes down and Flare goes down. I had swapped some XRP into Flare, and then XRP goes down 20% and Flare goes down 10%. Well, I actually gained 10% because I didn't lose 20%. I only lost 10%. So I actually gained against XRP by 10%. So that was a gain. So if I were to convert back into XRP, I'd get 10% more XRP. So that's one way you can gain in the pair-to-pair swap strategy. Another way is if XRP goes down, say 10%, and Flare stays flat, I just gain 10% over XRP. So I could swap back from Flare into XRP and have made 10% more XRP. Another way is XRP could gain 10%, but Flare could go up 20%. If I were to swap back in XRP, I actually still made 10% more XRP. So there's multiple ways when it comes to the pair-to-pair swap, and that it's even if the coin that you swapped into is going down, you got to look at comparatively to the coin that you swapped out of. That's the key. So that's a little lesson right there. If you didn't know about the peer-to-peer swap, I'll link that video in the bio of this one and the Flare passive strategy as well too. But I'm going to leave it off at that. I mean, I'm not too worried. I mean, looking at the last signals of 1 week buy now, we're at key level now. If we come down, it's only going to be a hair. I mean, still earning passive rewards on that weekly as well as monthly, which any downside by getting those rewards will compensate for that. And still, the coins that I swapped out of into Flare are still going down more than what Flare is right now. So still maintaining the line on that as well too. So that was a lot. I mean, I covered a lot of things here. So hopefully that helps as far as my thought process of where we're at in the market on the macro, medium, and short term. And then I went into some individual altcoins, everybody's favorite as well too. Any questions, leave them in the comments of this video. And in my next video, I'll try to answer them. Also, link in the bio, join the Discord if you have any questions as well too. It's Rob at Stargate in there. And then if you're looking to get access to these signals, I'll put a link in the bio to join the waitlist, the VIP membership, the waitlist for that, as well as I'm going to be kicking off. The reason why I'm doing this video Wednesday, February 12th at 12:55 a.m., I want to get this out to you guys ASAP because in about 7 hours, we'll see that macro data come out. So this will give you enough time to watch this, but as well as I'm going to kick up a ton of 2025 price prediction videos again to bring some positivity back into the space because I feel like a lot of people are feeling down right now, and rightly so. The market has been down, it's been bloody, it's been brutal, but I believe looking towards the future of what's going to happen after the blood and where levels we could go to and bring some hope back into some dark times, I feel like that would be good. So I'm going to whip up a bunch. I'm going to do coins like, and I've read some of your comments before, I'm going to do coins like that SWIF Swift token. I'm going to do XPR. I'm going to do XYO, Metal, Stronghold, Ondo, HBAR, ADA. I'm going to do an updated XCN as well too. Yeah, we're going to get into all of it. So that's going to be it. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and link is in the bio for all those things I mentioned, and I'll see you guys in the next video.